Welcome back to Buy Real Estate, Cash Flow, and Get Rich. My name is Gualter Amarelo, the real estate mentor. I've been talking to a couple of real estate investors today who are, as they say, new to real estate, but it turns out that Tile has actually already bought a house with his father, and Max has been doing financial advising for people for a while. So even though everybody who jumps into this call thinks they're new, it seems like if you don't own 10 houses, then you couldn't call yourself a real estate investor. And I went through the same thing, guys. When I started, I had 3 houses and I still felt insecure. I still felt like, I don't know if I'm an investor. And it wasn't until my agent looked at me and said, he picked up the phone and he said, hey, I can't talk to you right now. I'm on the phone with one of my investors. And that was the moment where I was like, hey, maybe I am a real estate investor. But the truth is, you're a real estate investor the moment you start analyzing deals. The moment you start looking at real estate, analyzing deals, you've become an investor. Now, you haven't made any money yet, but mentally, you're doing the things that an investor does. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah.
So you're investors, and now you're speaking to another investor and looking to get to that next level. Like where my qualifications come from. I own 51 or 52 units back in Massachusetts that are apartments. And then we have I want to say it's 38 or 40 units. It's a rooming house. So that isn't counted the same way. But the cash flow from those is somewhere between $40,000 to $50,000 a month. It's not cash flow. Hold on. Don't say the wrong thing. The gross rents is about $40,000 to $50,000 a month. And cash flow is somewhere closer to 5, maybe 10,000, depends on the expenses of the month. So we've been doing it for a little while, right? We didn't start off that way. Start off with a single family. Then he and I both, actually, me and my business partner both start off with single families. And we sold those. He made a whole lot more than me when he sold his, and I made a whole lot less. But he didn't buy anything for the next 3 years, whereas I was buying real estate for 3 years in a row. And the first house was a 3-family, second was a 2-family, then a 3-family, then a 4, and then a 6. And I just kept stacking up. So I want to open it up to questions. And the most powerful question to ask is, why haven't you bought something this year? Like, what stopped you this year from buying something? And either one of you can answer. Tile, we'll go with you. I already asked this question to Max earlier.
So, I just don't have the knowledge. Like, still, like, it's been 4 years, but I don't know, like, when people talk about, like, there are some of the states I don't even know about. Like, I don't have the knowledge. And then, like, I'm over here in Denver right now. So before this, I was in Vail, Colorado. So the real estate was pretty good. Like, it was doing really good over there. And then my parents, they wanted to buy a house. So I was like, hey, I've saved up. Like, when I came from Nepal, I was working over there, and then I was like hiking, and then I was trekking. I was a trekking guide. And then I saved up some money. So I was like, yeah, no, if you guys want to buy some house, like, I can help you guys. But now I'm over here in Denver, and then, like, it's completely different now. Like 2020, like, we don't have the house, like, and like house for sale, and the house for sales are very expensive. And
Yeah.
and I'm just trying to get more educated on real estate, and then, like, some of the booming markets over here around in United States. And then, I'm trying to look at some properties over in Lubbock, which are like a little bit cheaper to Denver. But I just don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm like if I can make some money over there or not. Like, because I see, like, there are a lot of properties over there, and then I'm like, damn, why are these properties in the market for like 90 days, like 4 months, and then is it not a good place to investment? That's kind of stopping me. I don't have a lot of knowledge about the United States and then the investment.
I like that, Tile. So you can invest in any market. I will say that markets like Denver, Miami, Boston, New York, San Diego, LA will be a very different strategy. You won't just be buying to hold. You may be flipping in those markets, or doing micro rents or subleasing or short-term rentals like Airbnb. And those are really the only ways to justify the hold of something in a market like that. Denver, in fact, I spent some time in Denver maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and I looked at the real estate, and my buddy was investing out there. He was buying condos, and he would hold the condo for a short period of time, and then sell the condo. And so he was actually making his money off of flipping. It was like a long-term flip. He made almost nothing cash flow, except he did decent because he had Airbnb, but there was very little room for cash flow. It was more about the appreciation play. So Tile, there's other markets for sure. Like when you're looking at a market that has houses sitting on the market for a long period of time, the price is going to be significantly lower. The crime rate will be a little bit higher. There'll be less desirability, so the resale value will probably be close to what you bought it for, but the cash flow will be better. The entire Midwest is like that. In fact, where I invest in Massachusetts, about an hour away from Boston, has the highest crime rate in the entire state. But the cash flow is fantastic, and the appreciation's actually been pretty decent. If you look up Fall River, Massachusetts, they are the average sales price now for a single family is 350, and the multifamilies, which are what I own, the threes and sixes and 12s, the three families are going for 400,000. But when I first started buying them, they were going for 150. So that like there has been appreciation, but the barrier to entry was much lower and the management was a little bit more intensive. That being said, I have friends who invest in Boston, where the home prices are the same exact size house is 1 million, 1.2 million, 1.5 million. And they have tenant issues themselves, even though they're not in high crime areas, they're in high desirability areas. They have seen much better appreciation than we saw, but the amount of work with management it doesn't change significantly. So Tile, I would say dive into the market, right? Like pick one market and just go into it. How far is the market you were talking about from where you are?
So Lubbock is a city over in Texas. So like I'm over here in Denver. If I fly, it's like 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, and then if I drive, it's like 8 hours. So I was thinking of like buying a multi-family home, like 2 units, like attached to each other. So I was like like thinking of like house hacking, like maybe I can stay in one unit and then the other one I can rent it to other people. Like I saw this um there's like a big university over there, Texas Tech.
Yep.
So that was the thing. I was like, okay, maybe students will rent over there, and then like, but I'm still confused. Like like I'm like, damn, like there's a lot of property in the market. So if I jump in over there, what if I don't get tenants? And then that's my concern.
Lubbock, Texas. I see it on the map. Population 258,000. Yeah, I think that everybody has that concern. What if I don't get tenants? What are the average sales prices out in Lubbock right now?
It's kind of cheap. Like good house is like $200,000.
Yeah, you'll still get tenants. If the rents were low, like if the houses were closer to 100,000, then you could be really concerned whether there's people out in that market. But in the 200, 300, $400,000 range, there's people there, right? That's proof is supply and demand. If
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So like that's the stuff I started buying with Tile in Fall River. I was buying three families for 157. I had never had a vacancy. And
Oh,
to this day, we've got 52 or 53 units in that city. We don't have vacancies. We have tenants who are asked, we have people who are saying, hey, do you have a vacant apartment? But we don't have any vacant apartments.
yeah. Um, Thank you. Yeah, I was just like when I was in Vail, I was skiing every day. I'm a big runner, like
Yep.
not professional, but I like to run a lot. And then I was scared about like when I moved to Denver, I was like, damn, I can't be able to ski every day now. Like if I move to Denver now, like I'm in Denver, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna ski. It's expensive if I have to travel. So like even if I move to Lubbock, I'm not scared of anything now. Like I'm not scared of losing anything. I'm like, you know what? If I can make money, I'm good. I want to make money, and then maybe in the future I can do better and then ski every day or like do what I like. But right now, my focus is to like make some money and make a good future. So I'm not scared of like moving from one place to another. Thank you very
Exactly.
much for the motivation.
Yeah, Tile, great job, man. Save money, make money, invest in assets. This isn't a race, but I will say I'm known for telling people to aim at the $1 million, aim to make $1 million in a year. It doesn't have to be this year, but set up a plan where you double the amount of real estate you own every year. Say this year the goal is just buy a two family. Next year it's a four. Next year it's an eight. The year after that 16. So every year you just keep upping what you're buying, and it's just one transaction a year to get you to your financial goal. So you can be skiing all the time, like live the life you want to live. I like that. Awesome.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, brother. And Max, I'm going to ask the same question, except have you considered where you want to buy in the market? And this goes to everybody on the call and everybody who's listening. I originally invested in Massachusetts. I now live in I live in Florida, Tampa, Florida, and my units are managed by a property manager. So like I'm not managing them. I don't do anything. And the same thing would be my advice to you, Tile, is get a property manager. If you don't want to move to Texas, you don't have to. Just get somebody who can manage the property for you while you're there. So Max, what's stopping you from picking something up this year, brother? I know you just moved into Tampa.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, long story short, the biggest issue is probably deal flow, is knowing what's actually a good deal. I'm new to the Tampa area as well. And so knowing essentially what's a good deal, what areas to invest in this, in Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater, all of that. And just, yeah, I mean, deal flow, that's the gist of it. And then if I was to get a property where I'm not living in, then I might run into some issues with funding.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you own a property right now?
No, I'm renting right now.
Yeah, so you're fine. The funding piece will be very easy. The first one is 3.5%.
Mhm.
And the question I get all the time is, how do I buy the second one? It's like, dude, let's get the first. Like, let's focus on the first. We don't want to think too far in advance. The second one's easy. Put 25% down. Anytime I say that, and like people are like, I don't have that. It's okay. You will by then. Right? We'll put a plan in place where you'll have that 25% down, or we could partner. Ron, me and my business partner are sitting on hundreds of thousands of dollars right now for the right deals. We partner, we go 50-50 with people. We're not hard money lenders. We don't charge 12%. We charge significantly more. we're like, hey, if you want us in, we want half of the deal. We're bringing the money, you bring the work and the deal. We'll partner up. A hard money, and we still may go hard money if it's a flip, but we'll bring the 20% down, or 30% down, whatever they're asking for. And that's an option that you'll be able to provide people one day if you set the goal, right? If you kind of set yourself up. So what to buy? Are you living in Tampa? Are you living in Clearwater? Are you living in St. Pete?
I'm in Tampa,
Nice.
downtown, actually.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm thinking about moving down there. I'm up in Lutz, which is about 20 minutes north.
Okay. Yeah, it's a nice area, but I don't know if you've looked at the market down here. It's not cheap.
No, man.
With due reason.
We're paying the same exact rent, except we've got all this yard. So we've got all this land.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what, my girlfriend thought was a great idea at the time. She likes riding horses.
Yeah.
And, now I'm like, for the amount of rent we're paying, I'd much rather be a walk away from stuff and not have to drive to things. So we'll probably be down there. Seminole Heights is a market that I look at. There's a lot of transactions in Seminole Heights. And if I was looking to do flips, if I was looking to do small units, man, we would be buying in Seminole Heights right now. We get access to a lot of deals out there. Which the secret to getting a lot of deals is wholesalers and real estate agents. Go to the local networking events. Man, in Tampa, they are nuts. There's one on Monday nights. There's one on Tuesday. Once a month, every Tuesday, the Boston, I'm sorry, not Boston, the Tampa Bay RIA meets. They actually met yesterday. And then every Monday night, there's a group that Brandon Middleton puts on every Monday night that is they're like wealth builders. And they have different kind of courses, sometimes crypto, sometimes real estate, but they're wholesalers. Like these guys crank out the phone numbers and they offer deals. So those are great events. Then the one I have coming up on the 17th, I'd be at that. Just come to that and I'll introduce you to a lot of really great people to get you moving forward.
Yeah, cool.
Local realtors and stuff. Max, let's move forward. You're here in Tampa with me, so you're easy, man. We'll get you going.
For real, yeah.
Marcelo.
Well, I've thought about that too. Moving from Kansas City, that's in the Midwest can be a pretty hot market as well, because places are cheaper there. And so I do have some, people on the ground up there that I can resort to. But I feel like I need to get something where I live first and then try to get that second one maybe somewhere else.
It depends on your
Or who
finances.
knows, maybe it pops up here too.
Before I moved, I would have bought something before I left Kansas City. I would have been rocking there and then bought something in Tampa. But I still buy back in Massachusetts. I'm living here, but I still buy back there just because I know the
Yeah.
market better. I got my boots on the ground out there.
Yeah.
So you may still build a team back home. In fact, a lot of my buddies do that. They live down here in
Mhm.
Florida now, but they're still investing back in Vermont or Massachusetts or New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, good plan, man. Marcelo, what about yourself? What's your experience in real estate? What are you looking to do for yourself?
Hey, hi. I'm sorry I had some technical issues at the beginning here to connect. Walter, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. What is
I'm
your experience?
well, I'm being on this road for a long time, but zero property.
Yeah. Hey.
You know,
my dad just bought his first property 4 years ago. He's in his 50s and whatever.
No,
He told me to buy real estate.
Yeah, I have read a lot. I mean, several books, mostly the ones from Bigger Pockets, which I think
Nice.
it's amazing. I got my real estate license 3 months ago
Congratulations.
because I thought that the license would help me a lot to understand more about the ins and outs of the business.
It certainly does.
Yeah, and being very beneficial. And next week, actually, I'm spending one full day on this property management course, which is also part of the school here in Miami that I got my license. The only reason I'm doing this is not to manage any properties, because I want to understand when I sit down on the table with a property manager, in the future.
Right.
So, and the other thing I have done, which I think it's extremely valuable, I have done a lot of work on an Excel spreadsheet, which you can put some numbers, and the spreadsheet will tell you cap rate, return on investment, and equity build up on the first year. I mean, I think I did a good job. I shared the spreadsheet with my broker. My broker has been in the business for like 20 years. He's a personal friend of mine.
Yep.
And he loved it, what I did. And it's amazing. I mean, I heard Tile, I'm sorry if I pronounce your name wrongly, buddy.
Tile.
Tile, I heard you saying that, you have a few questions about renting your place, or if there's the right property or not. I'm a guy that truly believes in numbers. I'm a very analytical person, so the numbers will help you a lot. It's not going to take the decision for you, but if you know the cap rates, the return on the investment, you can calculate actually vacancy rates by looking at statistics of how long the properties are taking to get rented. I mean, these are guarantees, assurances that it's not guaranteed 100% they're going to rent your place, but at least you can see historically data. So
absolutely,
that's where I am right now. I mean, Miami market, Walter, is being very difficult. I mean, the prices here are extremely high, not too many stocks. I honestly don't think, for me, is the right moment to buy. So what I'm doing is really running statistics, doing analysis, but I don't think I'm going to find anything now. Maybe end of the year, next year, and I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I can wait.
If you're waiting for the market to drop, you're probably waiting another 2 to 3 years. So I wouldn't wait for the market to drop. I would adjust to the market and get a really good niche that works. Me and my business partner said the same thing. We were talking about it this week. We have $10 million worth of real estate and we want to get to 20. So we were looking at saying, can we buy another, let's say $8 million is what we pay, but we're getting 2 million in equity, right? That's our goal. If we can get 10, 20% in equity, we've done a really great job if we bought the property that way. And the answer right now has not been a yes. In fact, we haven't bought anything for the year, which is abnormal for us. But then again, 2 years ago, we didn't buy anything until September. And then September, we bought 24 units. So sometimes we do almost towards the end of the year, get our deals. If you're looking and you haven't found anything in your market, you may be either in the wrong market for your niche, or you could be looking at the wrong niche. So some markets like Miami are really going to be appreciation plays. Those are appreciation markets. But if you look about an hour to 30 minutes away from Miami, you start getting away from the main city, you get a lot of opportunity in a ring. There's a lot of opportunity out there the closer you get to the woods. And those cities are huge opportunities for investors. And the same thing, you're here in Florida with us. If you look, same with Fort Lauderdale, if you go out to the west, get away from the water, the prices get much better. And Orlando, right? You go to Orlando, that's a rental market. It really starts making financial sense as you get away from the water, you get away from the edges of the coasts. So it's but you can do it in your market. You absolutely can. You just got to do micro housing. You got to do short-term rentals or do flips. I mean, the flips are nuts. There's a lot of money to be made still flipping in Miami.
Yeah. And together with all of this, I fully agree with you. Getting away from Miami, maybe it's a good option. I'm actually building a house in a place called Lehigh Acres, just close to Cape Coral and Fort Myers.
Nice.
And it's actually a duplex. It's a container house because I have some history with shipping containers, and myself and a partner building this house. But at this project, we are actually planning to sell it and not to put for rent.
Right.
Rental properties really would be diversification for me, which I really want to go into. The only thing about the distance is that you are far away from the property, so most probably going to need to have, like you do. I heard it before, you saying that you have property managers, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to have one, because sometimes 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, 2 hours away, it doesn't work.
That's the truth. Either you have a property manager or you get a really good list of people you could call. Like if my property manager backed out tomorrow, I still have all my contacts, all my handymen, and all the people I had locally in the city, so I could just shoot a text and have something handled. But so the distance doesn't really matter. But for me as an investor, I would much rather spend time focusing on my other businesses than worried about my real estate. I love real estate. Real estate's how I came up, but I don't want to spend my time talking to tenants. I'd rather spend my time talking to other lenders, other investors, finding deals.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. In terms of cap rate, do you have a minimum established cap rate? I have, heard so many things and read, 5% here, 7% there, 8%, whatever it is. I mean, do you guys have any specific number or not?
Yeah, cap rate's a fool's game. My mentor has told me this all the time. Always said a fool's game. Like some of the best buildings I bought were like 28 cap, right? A 14 cap or 30 cap. So like there's no gauge. But I've also bought buildings at 10 cap and 9 cap and turned them into 12 caps or 14 caps. But here's the gauge. If I were to go across the country and say, if you can buy at a 10 cap and sell at a 6, you're going to win. So I had a coach, and he was Charles Dobbins. He does syndications. And what he told me was, we buy at a 10, we sell at a 6. You can go up or down a point on either one of those, and you're going to do okay.
Great.
The deal's big enough, But buy at a 10, sell at a 6. And if you can't find a 10, a 9 would be acceptable. An 8 is stretching if you know there's value at. If you know you can get the rents up, why not? An 8's no big deal. A 6 would be no big deal if you know you could get the rents up. But if the building's at max rents, stay away. Unless you got deep pockets, you're looking to move cash, and it's not about making money, it's about protecting money, in which case that's fine. If you're doing a 1031, you just don't want to pay the government taxes, well, then you got 15% in leeway that you're going to lose anyway just in paying the taxes. And sometimes it'll make sense to go grab an asset that doesn't necessarily cash flow.
Yeah. What about, let me ask you this, Gualter, what about fix and flips, man? I mean, here in Miami, the huge problem that I have found is not to have a reliable general contractor. I mean, I don't know about your area where you are right now, Tampa or Texas, but man, it's so difficult to find a good general contractor, someone that is willing to do cosmetic work that is reliable. I mean, you find lots of people, but and if you want to go professionally like this, it's not a one-time project. You want to have someone that you can trust, so you can have volume, right?
Yeah.
How are you managing this?
So if you want to build relationships with an investor anywhere in the country, start talking about how shitty contractors are. Anywhere in the country, this is common ground. You can talk about how expensive plumbers are, how they never show up, especially in New England. Any of the snowy states, plumbers are a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Electricians will be a little bit better, but you want to get to the real heart of the issue in real estate. Talk about the contractors, right? Oh man, they never show up on time. Their quotes are always higher than they said. Nobody's consistent with quotes. They get more expensive every day, and they're always late. They never finish the job.
Yeah, man, it's everywhere. I'm originally from Brazil, and Brazil is the same story, man. I think it's
multicultural. So you got to ask, what is it about contractors that makes them inconsistent? They don't work for a company, right? A contractor is self-employed, and what they're actually hitting is their financial blueprint. They make a certain amount of money, they're no longer hungry. And the problem with contractors is they make that money quickly. It can happen in one deal, one project. Oh, I just made $20,000. I'm good for half the year. And then you don't see them for half the year. And then they suddenly need money. They're hungry. Like, hey, I'll go work with you. I'll do it at a discount. And then before you know it, they get into the project, they've made their money. And well, you know what? This isn't as easy as I thought it would be. I must have been really desperate at the time when I took the deal.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what do we do about it? We treat them, you guys have all been single at one point, right? So I treat them like girls. Like when I was dating, I wouldn't have just one. I had, 6 or 7 lined up where, if something happens, you're like, okay, that's not the girl. Maybe this one. And you just keep the inventory going, keep it rolling. I used to have the saying, I'd say, one girl is too close to none. And then you're lonely.
There's no loyalty, right? There's just no loyalty.
and you give them loyalty if they deserve it, just like your wife, right? When you got married, you said, look, this one's particularly different from all the others, so for her, I'll commit. Contractors the same way. They got to show some consistency for some time before you commit to them.
Yeah, you're right, buddy. You're right.
You don't always have that prenup ready, like just in case things go sideways. Be like, look, well, you said you do the job. You did do the job. I'm bringing in Tony now. There it is.
Yeah.
So, but don't make it a reason not to invest. Like they're going to be an issue no matter what. Flipping is, for the next 2 to 3 years, a great opportunity. I see a great opportunity. Multifamily rentals, they are my bread and butter. They're my love. They're my passion. They're what I love the most. They are more complex right now because the rest of the world has noticed that commercial, this is the problem in our market in multifamily, by the way. When I started investing in multifamily, nobody wanted it. It was the garbage asset, right? You wanted malls, you wanted hotels, you wanted casinos, you wanted to be buying commercial, have these tenants who are big businesses, triple net leases. And I was buying multifamily and they were like, oh, you're just a multifamily investor. And there was like this negativity. I had no competition. Now, every single one of those markets has been crushed. Every single one went through COVID and said, what else still works? What else still works? And they all pointed towards multifamily. So we've had this influx of cash, sophisticated money that is looking at the long term, that doesn't need the money because they are holding previous assets and they're shifting out of those and moving into multi. So we're seeing a pump in the price.
Yeah, I mean, this duplex that I just mentioned that we are building it. I mean, it should be done hopefully next month or the following month. It's been, we have had delays because of lack of materials. Some materials got late, and also labor. Yeah. And labor. I mean, it has been a problem with labor. And but anyway, when we got it done, the realtor that is working with us in the region, they told us he has like 10 buyers ready. Yeah,
you're one of a kind. You're a one of a kind niche out there.
They're crazy about it. They drive by almost every day saying, when are you going to be done? When are you going to be done? When are you going to be done? And the price keeps going up. The price keeps going up. I mean, 6 months ago, he told us, 6 to 8 months ago, he told us that we would sell for around 290,000, the duplex. Now he's talking about 350. I mean, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. It's good for us. You know, the delay actually has been helping us. And the reason why we're selling is because we need the cash. We already have another project. The design has been done. The approval is being done. And we just need the cash to invest on the second project and the third and the fourth, you know, and then keep growing. And like you said, I mean, Lehigh Acres had opportunities because the land is very cheap. In Miami, you don't find it. I mean, you don't find land cheap as Lehigh Acres, but it's good. It's been going. It's low, but it's going to be a good business.
Absolutely. One of my mentors told me I actually bought a house from her. I bought 3 houses from her, and what she told me was because I asked, I was young, I was new at the business. I think maybe I was 28, and I looked at her and I said, "What do I do? You know, how do I grow the most? What's the best advice you can give me?" She said, "Buy whatever you can, wherever you can. Like, don't worry about it. Just buy stuff. Just whatever you can afford, buy it, and keep buying. As long as it cash flows, as long as you can hold it, keep buying real estate." And I've stuck to that. You know, I buy at least 1 house per year, 1 building per year. So it doesn't matter where you're at. Just find something that you can afford, something that you can buy and get it rented out and move on to the next. As long as it cash flows or breaks even or has the room for an appreciation play. I was telling one of my students today, like we're appreciation investors and we assume cash flow, right? We don't buy just for cash flow. We buy in markets that will expand, that will cash flow and expand. And so that's where investing has done really well for us. That's why we're in a 50% equity position after 4 years. You know, we have 10 million in real estate, $5 million equity. That's from a very specific strategy of buying with a 20% discount, having a 20% value add. So in year 1, we're 40% equity already.
What's your goal for this year?
Same thing I do every year, double. It's a simple goal. Just double.
Great.
And I think that's something that everybody should take on. You know, as part of what the 100 Millionaires is all about. So I'm on a mission to build 100 millionaires that are inspired to build 100 millionaires, right? So you go get yours and then help somebody get theirs. And I get asked all the time, how do I help? It's like, dude, just listen to what I'm saying. Just go get rich, go get the million. And then you can ask me how to help. Like, but let's focus on you first. Let's get this done. And we have an event coming up called the 100 Millionaire Summit, where I'm inviting all of my students, everybody who's come to any of our calls, to Orlando for 3 days, and we're all going to network. And I've brought some really great speakers, some really great coaches in who are going to talk about the market, the way it is right now, some strategies that work. We got some mindset coaches to help set the blueprint to next year to do the double, which when I started this, you can imagine I was making 17,000. To go from 17,000 to 100,000 was kind of a big mindset shift. But then to go from 100 to 250 was another big mindset shift. And to go from 250 to 500,000 this was like, I had to keep resetting my mindset. So this event, we bring everybody together and we do that together. We say, let's set this goal. Let's mentally feel what that looks like and ratchet it up. And then next year we'll come back and do it again. You know, some people will so I've seen some of our students go and make 3 times their income. And I've seen some students go and only make 50% more. Nobody comes back sad. It doesn't matter. Like, just do more. Just do more than you did this year.
Yeah. That's great. Congrats.
Gualter, I've got this question. Like, what do you think about those? What do you think about those 3-day classes and then those programs that those companies offer? What do you say about those?
I have spent over $130,000 on coaches, mentors, programs. I have traveled the country. What I will say about those events is some are great, some are terrible. And if you're smart, if you want to get your return on investment, meet as many people in the room. Because if nothing else, the people in the room spent the same money as you and they wanted the education bad enough, which means you guys are like-minded. So that's my assessment. You won't know until you go. And I've been to probably close to 100 events, maybe more than that. You know, live events for real estate, live events for business, live events for speaking. And the question, it's a good question. It's a question out of fear, right? You will decide how much you get out of that room. If there's anything to be gotten, I will get it. Like that, I go into any event that I walk into. If there's anything to be gotten, I will get it. And I've spent some of those events, man. I spent 10,000 to be, sitting in the seat, sitting in the room. Some of them were as small as $100, $200, $1,000. But those $10,000 ones, everybody else paid $10,000. The room was it was pretty valuable. It was a room full of hustlers, a room full of motivated people who had $10,000 to spend to be there. So like, there's always a way. Just know the more you pay, the more the room is valuable, not the information. And the less you pay, the more the information is going to be valuable versus the people. Now, anybody who shows up to an event like that is going to be valuable because at least you're like mindset. You came for the same reasons. So you'll find your friends there. You'll find your partners there. You may find your spouse there. In fact, my girlfriend, I found 4 years ago at a success event called Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. So the events are extremely valuable. Just know the more you pay, the more the people in the room are the value.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah, it does. Like I when I just moved to Denver 3 months ago, I attended a 3-day program, and I paid like $450.
There you go. It's a good room.
Yes, it was good, but like I found that the mentor or the teacher who was teaching us was focusing more on the program, like they offer, like the $25,000 program. He was like really focusing on that one, and then trying to influence people to get into that program. So I was like, damn, why are you like doing that? And then they would teach like how to repair your credit, and then like I had a girl right next to me, like my age, like 26, 27, and then I was very amazed, like like those like people, the teacher who was in front of us, like he's very good at talking, and then he can play with people's emotional. So like what they did was like they checked our credit and everything, and then they like later they talked about like how to repair your credit and everything. So I found that the whole reason they did was like most of the people doesn't have $25,000. So what they were trying to do was repair their credit and then come back to them after a year when the credit is good, so that they can get a credit card and loans for 25,000 and then get into their program. I'm like, damn, why would you do that? If you have $25,000, why wouldn't you invest in something else? Or like, the girl next to me was copying my notes, and then she was eating a lot, like when the teacher was talking. So I was like, it doesn't make sense. Like, and then she wanted to get into the program. I was like, hey, are you sure you want to get into the program? And then she was like, yeah, I'm gonna get into the program next year. And then I was like, in my mind, I was like, damn, you're copying my notes. It doesn't make any sense though.
Right.
But it was sad to see that, but I wasn't very influenced by that. Like, I learned more in this 1 hour with you than going to those kind of programs.
Thank you, brother. I will say those programs have a place. And I've been through them, man. I've been there. I've built my credit up. I've went and put $35,000 on one course. And the secret to really being successful in this business is communication, is being able to communicate clearly. So when you see a coach who's phenomenal, when they're able to turn the room and make them suddenly go and spend $25,000, don't just listen to what he's selling, listen to how he's selling, right? This is what I started learning is if you can move a room to go and spend $25,000 on a program that will, in their mind, go and move them forward only if they take action though. And clearly if she's copying your notes and she's not taking her own great notes, she may be in trouble. But then you can do that with a seller and get them to sell a house at a discount, $50,000 discount or $100,000 discount. So the communication skills are really important. So number one, whenever I go into an event now, I'm listening to the speaker to see what their intention is, what they're selling, what they're moving people towards, and what they're delivering, what their true overall arching goal is. So you can always do that. That's like, if I go and the speaker sucks, I at least do that. if I already have the content and the room isn't a great room, I'll shift over and I'll just be like, okay, let's see how they sell. If this is not my sort of information I'm looking for, I'll at least listen to the sales pitch and see where they're going. And then as far as the program, look around the room. Tile, this is the same thing. This is what I'm talking about. I've spent $25,000 to be part of masterminds where those masterminds became my business partners. and those people are bringing me deals, or they're doing the work for me, or they're bringing me money. So if they had the 25,000 and they were able to put it down on this program, you might want to be in that room, because those people, there may not be like that woman, right? She's saying next year, the people who have it already are pretty intelligent. Like, it takes a little while to get to 25,000, right? Is that fair to say? So if they're
Yeah.
going in and they're buying in, they probably have more than 25,000, which means they're probably sophisticated investors, which means they're probably good people to have around in your circle. So either join into the program, or at least get their contact information. Pay attention to who buys. Right? If you don't have the money to jump in, at least pay attention to who's buying, and build a relationship with them. Find out what they think of the program after they've gotten into it, and at least stay connected with them. Those are higher level investors, right? Most of them, anyway. I've been in some programs where they put it all on credit cards, and a handful of the people in the room were champions, and the rest were just, I don't know if they should have paid what they paid. I just pulled out the champions. And then when I built my training company, I made those other people, I beta tested on them, right? The people who were willing to buy anything, I just beta tested. I didn't charge them anything. I just offered them value so I could kind of help them get the return on investment they spent on the other coach. Does that make sense? Like, you can pay it forward one day, right? Just take all the information in, and go out and do what we're doing. For us, me and the other coaches that work with me are aimed at, every one of us got taken advantage of by a coach, whether it was we got taken advantage of, or we just weren't paying attention to what they were saying, what they were selling, and we overpaid and we end up in wrong rooms. But for the most part, we've done really well at getting ourselves into the right rooms and getting ourselves around the right coaching and the right people. And so, like, all the programs we've created are about 1/10 of the cost of what everybody else creates, but they're higher value because we're still in it. We still do. A lot of these coaches don't do the deals. A lot of these coaches don't do what they're talking about, whereas we still are. But we're not full-time coaches, right? Like, we're not like, hey, I'm going to be there every single day with you. No, we're going to meet, like, this is a call, right? This is a free call, and we're meeting once a week for about 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Ask me questions, and I'll deliver answers. But, don't call me. like, show up, be here, send a message in, send a text. And because during the rest of the day, like, I'm going to go do what I enjoy doing. I'm going to buy real estate, or I'm going to be on a podcast. I'm going to write a book. That's a long way to answer that question, Tila. Did that help?
Yeah, it does. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Seek out knowledge. Knowledge is not why we go to those trainings, by the way. You can Google anything. Like, all the knowledge, all the information is out there. Bigger Pockets alone is a proof that knowledge is not going to help you close the deal, though. Like, you'll get the knowledge from BP, get the knowledge from the books. You get into a room for the network. You get in the room for the people. Like, I wouldn't be a real estate investor to this day if it wasn't for the networking events, for the RIAs. So, man, local events are huge. Real estate investor associations. That's why I still volunteer at them. I volunteer at the one in Boston. I fly back every so often to speak there. And while they're still virtual, I still host that. I help them out. And the ones down here, I started talking to the guys in Tampa, the Boston Bay. I'm sorry, not Boston, Tampa Bay Real Estate Investors Association. So I'll speak there once a year, and I'll do the same thing with the guys here locally in northern Tampa, just because it's the right thing to do. These associations, I raised all my capital in those rooms. I found my contractors in those rooms. And I just found my friends, my accountability partners, the people who were also buying real estate and were, that maybe they were further ahead than me, or I was a little ahead, but we kind of would hold each other accountable to buying deals together, or we partner with deals. So yeah, you don't go for education. You will get some, I guarantee you. Every speaker wants to give you information. And that's why I go. That's why I ask questions. What questions do you have? So I know what to speak about when I'm on stage. This is what commonly comes up, and this is what I know to talk about. But you're going there for the people. Even in this group, this is a small day today, but if you come to Saturday, I have my 52 weeks to wealth, where we talk about how to double your income every year. On Saturdays, we'll have anywhere between 40 to 100 people, and it's a powerful community. Spend time in the chat, meet people, talk to each other. We're from all over the country, but we have one singular goal: to double our income every year. Double our income, double our income, double our income. And that's all I talk about. One principle a month is 52 principles. And I talk about one per week, not month, one per week. In fact, Wealth Principle 28, I believe, is coming up this week. Let me share my screen. I'll show you guys at the website. So you can go ahead and go to tools. So it's gualteramarelo.com. You can go to tools, go to 52 weeks to wealth. And this week is, let's see, I just did this one. So week 29, own 100% of your results. And the book of the week is Extreme Ownership. This website also has a lot of cool tools. You get to do your net worth tracker. You can jump in, check your net worth, which you should be doing. Anybody who's in my coaching firm, we have them do it weekly. And then you've got your investor personality test, which it would help to know what kind of investor you are. If you're somebody who suffers from analysis paralysis, or if you make decisions too quickly, or you tend to go in without, any information, any knowledge. This is like 20 questions, super easy to go through, but it'll help you identify yourself. There's the how to earn $1,000 in a week, which I didn't think was an issue. Hold on. Am I talking? That's me. So this website has a lot of tools: mortgage calculator, compound interest calculator, rental property calculator. If there's anything missing on the site, just let me know. If there's anything you think that would be valuable, I have a couple of guys who develop for me, all volunteers. They all help out. We just want to keep growing this to make it better. And then you've got Alchemist Nation. Oh, well, that's not working, so don't go there. But if you go to alchemistnation.com, you can actually communicate with the community, people who've been in here before. We just started it last week. The only thing is you got to type in www. And I had the wrong link there. So let me drop it in the chat, how to get to it. Was this valuable this week? A lot of fun?
Yeah, this has been huge, man.
Awesome. When I was broke, I made a commitment to myself. I remember going through a divorce, having nothing in my bank account. In fact, I don't know if you know how America works and the credit system works, but I was worth less than nothing. And I remember sitting on a paint bucket in one of the apartments, and I was, crying like a man. And I thought, if I could figure out this money thing, one day I would teach, because I don't want anybody to feel the way I'm feeling at this moment. This, it's just, man, like, why do I even exist? What's the purpose of life? And in that moment, I just said, look, just teach me money. Like, I was talking to God. I was like, just come on. There's other people who are rich in this planet. Show me the way, and I promise I will show others. And so it's been 7 years since that fateful day, and I've been true to my word. Just the idea is keep teaching more. I think the solution to the world is if people know how to make money, they'll spend more time on spiritual development, they'll spend time on their health, they'll spend time with their families and their relationships. So if we can take money out of the equation, well, I just freed up 40 hours for you to go do whatever you want with it. So that's why the mission to build 100 millionaires doesn't stop with 100. It's 100 who are inspired to build 100. This way we can keep it growing. After I give up, after I say I hang up the towel, there'll be others who come in after me who pick up the towel, pick up the torch, and keep going. Does that sound like something you'd be interested in doing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, then I'm hanging out with the right people. It was great meeting you guys tonight, and I'll be here next week, same time, same bat channel. If you have any questions, message me on Facebook, send them in. I'm glad to help. Again, my goal is to build 100 millionaires. Cheers to your success.
Awesome. Thanks for your time, man.
Thanks, Gualter.
Appreciate it.
Gualter, thank you.
Nice meeting you guys. Have a good night.